Hello, welcome back. It's taken me such a long time to get myself to make another video. It's been very difficult, considering I feel like I've been going through a lot of radical transformations. Since I read The Power of Now in June of last year, I've been going through a lot of different shifts in consciousness, and now I'm in this weird phase where it's like I'm in this, like, I think, cocoon going into butterfly phase, or like I think I'm growing wings. And I'm like getting to know this new version of myself. Because I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of mainly fear. I had to let go of really. I think I wrote in a journal entry this morning, like, I think I was identified with the story of me. I turned the story of me into me. I thought that, you know, the way humanity reacted to me and the way people reacted to me, and, just people in general, and that includes parents, friends, family, even people that are like important to you. My mind somehow convinced me that their reaction to me determined the real me and determined my essence. That because they reacted to me negatively or told me things or put these limitations on me, that I just like accepted them and made them a part of me. And I didn't have the awareness I had now. I wonder if I did. Would I have taken them so easily as I did before? Would I have just like been like, hey, that has nothing to do with me. That's either about you or you just heard that somewhere from someone else who probably heard it from someone else. Nothing to do with you. But it's so hard to do that. It's so hard to try to put yourself in the shoes of the people who hurt you, because you're afraid that if you empathize with them and humanize them, that you would make them important again and maybe even love them. But at the same time, I think like the fear of humanizing someone, I think, is just a trick to get us to not humanize someone and to see them as an idea or a bad thought or the reason for our pain. And a lot of the times, like, I thought I had this realization about forgiveness the other day. It was a really cool video I watched. I might link it in the description, about forgiveness. And it's funny, like, this person said something about how you might tell, when you're forgiving someone, you might tell yourself, oh, but they don't deserve my forgiveness. And before, when I used to have that thought, that was normally the door that would close the door to forgiveness. Like, I would be like getting there, and the moment I would hear, but they don't deserve it, and then it's like I know it to be true. And I used to try to like maneuver that by being like, yeah, but like maybe they were going through stuff and it wasn't their fault and everything. And this video basically explained that there's a difference between excusing and forgiving. And just because you excusing someone isn't forgiveness. And that actual forgiveness is knowing that this person almost like owes you, or admitting like, yes, this person did mess up, and tell yourself, oh, but they did their best, and maybe they didn't do their best. You can never really know. And when you can't know something like that, it's trying to control something that you can't control. And then when you do that, it ends up resulting in a lot of suffering. So he used this really cool quote where he was like, it's kind of like you're letting go of the debt that they owe. And I was like, wow. I thought that was very interesting because I don't know why that concept never was in my mind. A lot of the times when I thought about like letting it, like I used to associate that with like letting it slide, and if I let it go, it means that they'll do it again or whatever. But it's like, I think that's all just like a manipulation of the mind, trying to get you to stay in that space. Because it's really just holding you down. It's like when you think about something every day and it randomly pops up, like people who annoyed you at school, or the one heartbreak you went through, or like how your parents treated you. When it keeps coming up and you just like find your mind on something else all of a sudden, you're still hurt by that. And you haven't felt all of those emotions. That's why it's like a wound, you know? Think of a lot of things like wounds or cuts, or um, how sensitive they are, and how you have to really treat it at first and like kind of like take care of it and like look at it and be present with it. Then it's slowly, but if you can't just like leave it be, it could heal and sometimes it could not. We're embracing everything that comes along the way. And if you just think about charcoal and how hard charcoal is, and just imagine that you have bits and chunks of charcoal just living in your body. It holds, it's almost like living. It has its own energy and stuff. But like, and it blocks you from feeling the rest of you. You know, the different parts of you that you don't even know exist. Like they're like, you know, kind of dams in the river. You know, they just keep interrupting the flow. And that's why you feel so rigid and up and down all the time, because it's like you're trying to dodge the bullets, like the Matrix stuff, you know, like dodge all the bullets because you're afraid to die. But it's almost like Neo at the end of the Matrix, when like he let the bullets come, and he knew that the bullets were not him or could never end him. The bullets almost stopped. I think a better way they could have done that scene is like just having the bullets go directly through him and just hit the wall behind them, and they can't hurt him anymore. Like, let the bullets come. Let them see what happens. You know? When you believe that on the other side you'll always be there, no matter what happens, no matter how much pain you go through, the real you will always live. You know? We're just in these, as Andre 3000 calls them, like these earth suits. We're in these earth suits, and we're just existing through this manifestation of life and consciousness until, you know, until the end. And it's like, it's almost like we're all chosen ones, really. We're all something, because sometimes now when my mind tells me I'm not enough, it's like I try to counter it with like, if I wasn't enough, I wouldn't be here. You know, it would be very cruel to just, you know, make everyone else perfect and send and like one of them just like 50% capacity and just like, yeah, you know, your essence is that. It's just cruel. It's like, why would you do that? But if you perceive it to be that way, and then that's used as a lesson to like access the other 50% of you, then you see why there's a purpose to that. But no one is ever not enough. It's almost, think about us as like really skilled, like, you know, agents or something, and we had to be sent into this world for a mission, like sent to Earth to do something and make it a better place. But to do that, we had to like temporarily forget who we really are. And we accepted the challenge because we knew we would always be there. No matter what happens, we knew we would always be there the whole time, watching it all go down. You know, if you ever had the thought of, I feel like my life is on autopilot, I'm not in control of my life, I feel like my life's on autopilot, who's watching? Who's watching the TV show of your life? Who's taking note of the angles and kind of noticing things that draws you and pulls you, and who's taking this all in? Who's watching this story unfold? It's you. It's always been you. And you know that to be true. You just forgot. And that's okay. Nothing you do in this life will make you less or more of who you are, of who you really are, the real you. Nothing. All of it is a smoke screen, an illusion. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's used as a tool. Everything we have in this world is used as a tool to make us better. You know, we're all one family tree, separated into different branches. And you know, if you want to take this analogy as like each one of us is an individual leaf. We got leaves trying to cut the branches because it wants to be its own tree, but it doesn't know that like you already have a tree. We are the tree. You're a part of us. If you cut yourself from it, you'll just fall and then go into the ground and regrow back into another leaf into the tree. Like, we're one singular tree, dog. Why are you trying to mess up our home? You know? They just think they're like the one. I mean, I thought I was the one too. But I realized like even if I am a chosen one or connect to that title, chosen one, I'm only a chosen one because I woke up or realized that I was chosen to realize the oneness of all of us. I think that's a better term. I was chosen to realize the oneness of all of us. We're all one. But, you know, God or the universe to me is goosebumps. And yes, of course, people have tried to take the idea of this oneness that can't be put into an idea and try to weaponize it to make people do what they want. And like, that's the same analogy. It's like a leaf trying to create its own tree because it feels like it's too good to be a part of these other leaves. Who are you talking about? I mean, do you know who I am? I am the leaf. I'm the one. Believe I am the leaf. Bars. So I feel like all this to say is like, I was talking about forgiveness first. Waiting for something else to come up. I think a lot of the times, like, I'm in this space right now where it's like, I guess I would have called it limbo a few years ago, or I feel like, oh, I'm so lost and everything. But I think even that was like training to some degree, because my father told me this thing one time where I was like, you know, I keep asking God for answers, and I feel like there's like no response. I feel like I'm being left undelivered. And my dad told me sometimes God leaves you unanswered because the skill to answer your own questions and to trust yourself is something you're going to need down the road. He's making you, he wants you to be independent, you know. But, you know, God is within all of us. He is all of us and lives in all of us, and it's complicated. I'll make a whole video about that maybe. But it's the oneness of us all. It's the connection of us all. Because you just have to learn to let things go. You have to learn to realize that if you're chasing something to feel more than you are, you're missing the point. You're a leaf that wants to be a tree. You feel like, oh, if you just had this, then I'll feel more. because you feel less. You see, it's almost like a weird equation. It's like I feel less, so I need to go up. So I need to be more, so I don't feel less. And if you're always thinking about that, you're just gonna keep jumping from, from one, like, I mean, it's kind of like a trampoline. You're just down and going up, and it's like the momentum that's like causing this. The inertia is the one causing the problem. When you really need to do is just like sit on the trampoline. You just need to sit on it, You don't need to jump anymore. You're jumping for survival. You're jumping like you think like, I need to be somebody, I need to be this, and I need to be that, and I need to prove to the other leafs that I am the one, and I need to do this and that, I need to accomplish all these goals and do all of this, so because maybe one day I'll be somebody. But you already are somebody. You're more than somebody. You're a representation of all of us. There was one Kendrick Lamar lyric that I really, really thought about. I think it was in Reincarnated, where it's like a back and forth with him and God, I think. And God says like, every individual is only a version of you. When you think about that, if let's say, consider this for a second, that we're all just like awareness. If we're all just like the version of you that's aware of things, that's like the real you. So when you think about that, if you're just the awareness and you're born into all these different experiences, like think about like all the humans that were ever born. When they don't realize that they're the awareness, they become their story and they become their experiences, and they think they individualize themselves through these experiences, and then the idea of you becomes seemingly real. So when you think about the Kendrick Lamar thing, you could have been any one of those, because when they don't know the real them, they act only as a result of their experiences. So you could have literally been any of these people. But when you realize that you're the awareness, you're like free from that. Like you don't even need to be anybody else anymore. People who know the real them and know the real awareness within them, they're not like born special or something. They might be, maybe God like awoke them to awake others, but like the same awareness that lives within you and them lives within all of us, lives within you too. So when you think about that, like that is true. Every individual is only a different version of you. So we're all the same. It's almost like that one video that's really cool. It's like if you could like reincarnate back in time, it's like you're almost every single person to ever exist, but at a different time. So it's like when one leaf tries to hit another leaf, it's like, what are you doing, bro? We're trying to steer this ship in the right direction. What are you doing trying to fight the other crewmates? Like, we're on the same team. But no, some leaves, they might be different colors, shapes, and sizes, and that becomes part of their identity too, and they individualize that with their story and on their pain. Don't even get me started on that. And all that becomes, this is me. This is me, you know what I mean? And we've even like gone up another level in human history with like social media as well, and turning that into like a digital identity. Like it's enough that we already have a conceptual identity. We've digitized it. I think if we realize that, it almost like becomes easier to see the separation, because we've seen time and time again how the digital version of us is like sometimes not even close to like the real us that we've seen. So even that is insane. So imagine if like we all saw the difference between the conceptual identity and the real us, and how free we would be of our stories, of our own stories. And they don't even have to be a negative thing too. Like, it's always good to honor the role you were given. I always like to think of the GTA analogy. Like, it's like you wanted to be a part of this video game and you picked the character, or like the character was picked for you. The way you looked, your height, your name, your family, your upbringing, all your personality quirks, and you were like, I want to live through that manifestation of life. And but you had all your memories had to be erased, so you're in there, and it's like, oh, it's like Avatar. I could do what I want. Like, I'm already good. I know I'm not the character. I know I'm like the controller. I'm the one playing the video game. I'm not the character, you know? Because like, you know, fearing this is weird, but like like consider like you don't like that you have the memories of all your past lives, and like that you know that you're the awareness. Fearing death is almost like fearing dying in GTA 5, you know? Like, I'm sure like imagine the GTA characters like didn't know that if they died they could come back. Death would probably be like so scary. I got 5 stars and all police are following me, bro. Like, I'm gonna die. I can't do this. I have so much other levels to be and like things to do. But it's almost like they just didn't have the awareness that like, oh wait, this is all just idealized concepts. Like, I'm the person holding the controller. I will never die. I will live forever through different forms and different characters and stuff, and it's fun. We're just all avatars, so it's cool. You could embrace this, and that's why you're here, you know. You were always going to embrace it, you know. It's like we're all inevitable, but we just have to, you know, choose whether we want to like embrace embrace the real us. And you know, it takes a while, you know. Like, I'm sure it's taken a couple lifetimes for people to tap to the right amount of pain to realize like, wait, why do I need all this? Why am I holding on to this? I've made it such a part of my identity that I feel like I can't live without these experiences that happened to me. It's because it's all you knew, and that's fine. Allow yourself to forgive yourself for that. Allow yourself to forgive you for that. It's okay. You didn't know any better. It wasn't your fault. And that's it. Now we move on. Fast forward. You know, obviously this is way easier said than done. But once you start to realize that, you realize like, I could control how I want to move in this world, you know, because nothing really matters. And I used to think that thought was very negative and pessimistic, but it doesn't have to be like negative. Like, just because like we attribute the meaning to things, but even that meaning is a thought, is a conceptualized idea. You know, like, be aware of the things that like you feel like are a part of who you are. Be aware of the things that like, oh, I bought this when I was 5 years old, and you have a whole story, and that becomes a part of your identity. And I would recommend reading more into just identity and how that forms, and at a young age and stuff, like the Power of Now. I would recommend that book. Changed my life. Because that's really how it is, and it's hard. It's the journey that I'm going in right now, and I've been fighting off my past, or letting my past go every day, and it's been difficult. But in the gaps, I try to come here and kind of let these experiences kind of speak through me, that it might help somebody else, and learn to like channel and bring these messages and these expressions out into the world, because I think that's what I was here to do. I think I'm here to be me and have the world experience me and experience the world and help people and allow myself to be helped. So yeah, I'm letting go of the past every day. That's like tension that I felt in like the 7th grade that like I didn't fully release. I'm feeling that now, you know. Every time like I'm walking down the street and then I see something that reminds me of a past experience that hurt me, instead of trying to run away or listen to a song or to think about something else, or like the other option would be thinking about it in a negative way and having those negative thoughts weigh you down. It's like whatever emotion is there, just try to be aware of it first. Like feel like, all right, where in my body am I reacting? Like where are these pieces of charcoal hiding? You know? Because the reason why the charcoal analogy is so good, I didn't finish. That like when you start to look at it, you know, like it's almost like when you become aware of it first, it's almost like you just set it on fire. And that's really painful. When that pain awakens, it's really difficult, but like it's so worth it because it was always going to be there anyway. So it's just kind of like you're sweeping everything that you've thrown under the rug for the past, like, I don't know, multiple decades maybe. And then when you start to do that, an analogy that I like is like when you're in a barbecue and you have like some charcoal, you know, like when you blow on it, when you put some air under the charcoal, it starts to like turn orange and like little bits of it start to dissipate and it almost like shrinks. It's literally like that. Every time you feel some piece of charcoal in your body and some piece of pain, bring your breath to it. Feel it, like blow into it. Like try to bring your breath to it. Because if you try to like doing that without your breath is really hard because the mind will just suck you back into like, but what about your story? What about me? What about all the pain? No, 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 no. When you like breathe, thinking stops. Thinking pauses when you focused on your breath only. Every day I'm just blowing on charcoal and bits and pieces are getting away, and sometimes stronger than it was yesterday, and that's okay. You feel it and you're aware of it, and you know, it's a definition of facing your fear. When you realize you're not the fear, when you realize you're not your pain, that's what it is. And then they, you know, hopefully after a while they slowly start to dissipate, and even if they're still there but they don't like, I don't feel like they're blocking me, like it's fine. Like you accept it, and like through the acceptance and the reminder of the real you, which is the awareness, it all starts to slowly piece away. So take the time to breathe, take the time to let go, take the time to forgive, and take the time to enjoy your experience as a human being on planet Earth in the year 2025. That's the mission. That's the level you're on. The level isn't even up and down. It could just be like linear, because you'll always be you. In 2035, you won't be any less or more of you. 2045, same thing. So, yeah, that's kind of how it be. Wow. That was good. Crazy. Damn, I felt like Morpheus during that. That's it's crazy. It's about to be like, yo, red pill or blue pill, Neo. So yeah, I seem to channel the best when I do this like mellow or tone. Maybe over time I'll like feel comfortable enough to bring out like the more fun side of me. It'll probably come out as like I start to gain confidence over making these videos. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call this one just breathe into it, or take the time to breathe, something like that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I feel like I'm speaking to someone. I feel like I was speaking to either someone specific or like I felt the soul of someone while making this. I don't know why. But I hope it helped you. I really did. Best of luck. I love you. I love you. Oh my god. Yeah, I still need to get used to ending videos, but blessings and salutations. Okay, that doesn't work. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. That's good. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.